I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. I want to show you a post that Donald Trump made on his social media platform at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. He knows the walls are closing in. He knows what's about to happen. Clearly can't sleep at night. Let me show you what he's posting. He writes, "Just to make every one of those people suffering from Trump derangement syndrome feel better, it doesn't really matter that the jury foreperson went on a media rampage, thereby badly tainting the case and making it impossible to bring, because I did absolutely," and then in caps, "nothing wrong. 2 perfect phone calls on election integrity. That's it. The DA should go after the murderers and other violent criminals in Atlanta, one of the most dangerous cities in the world, and leave honest people alone." Excuse me, are you calling yourself honest? Are you saying you are an honest person who should be left alone? You literally lie about everything. How do you know Donald Trump is lying? Because he's either talking or posting something on his social media platform. Everything is a lie, including every aspect of this statement. And when you say these were 2 perfect phone calls, the most perfect phone calls, just how strange is that to refer to a phone call as perfect? And you know what? We can all hear the phone calls for ourselves. Like, we know what you said in the phone call. Brad Raffensperger testified to the special grand jury in Georgia about the phone call and how he felt about the phone call. But we heard it. We know that you said, "Find me the 11,700 votes. Or else, Brad, bad things are going to happen to you. Find me the votes, Brad, or bad things are going to happen to you." And I know in other statements that you say, you go, "Well, because they never hung up the phone on me, that shows that it was a perfect phone call." In what world is that the case? In what world does that make any sense at all? In the fascist cult world of Donald Trump, that's the only world where people say things like that. And you listen to the phone calls. Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, was objecting to what you were saying. Raffensperger was saying that the things you're saying are not true, that you're getting false information, but nonetheless, you continued. In fact, we also know from the emails that were made public of your lawyer, John Eastman, who a federal judge in California in the Central District stated he was involved in a coup in search of a legal theory with you. And when Judge David Carter, the federal judge in California, released these emails and text messages to the January 6th committee after your lawyer, John Eastman, asserted attorney-client privilege and Judge David Carter found the crime fraud exception applied, we see the emails. It's John Eastman stating that you were signing a perjurious declaration, a false declaration, talking about election fraud in Georgia, which you and your team knew to be false. We can read those emails with our own eyes. We can see that your lawyer, John Eastman, was also aware that your fake and phony electoral count scheme was illegal and was unlawful. The fake electors would not be validated by any federal court. Yet you continue down that path because you wanted to throw the election to state legislatures to overturn the results of a free and fair election. And when Pence didn't do what you wanted him to do, although he tried, I don't think he would have been against it if he could have found some justification, because we know how spineless he is. Then you inspired a violent and encouraged a violent insurrection. And so when you say you did absolutely nothing wrong, this is what is absolutely despicable about you and the fascist MAGA Republican movement. It's that you hate democracy. It's that you hate free and fair elections. It's that you call insurrectionists and domestic terrorists political prisoners. They are absolutely not that. They are traitors. You are traitors. Your inner circle is a bunch of American-hating, pro-Putin traitors. And how despicable was it that before you made this post, earlier in the day, you made posts bragging about your ratings, which wasn't even true, but you bragged about having good ratings in East Palestine, not talking about helping the people. You bragged about your ratings. So you went to a location where you were the arsonist, where because of your deregulation, the appropriate safety measures were not taken by the rail company, by the company that owned the trains where the derailment took place. You went there with 12 pallets of water, which equals about 2,880 bottles in each pallet. It's about $500 per pallet. You bought people some hamburgers, and then you bragged about your ratings. In a state controlled by a Republican governor that has a Republican House, a Republican Senate, the county where the train derailment took place was Republican. The CEO of the train company was a Republican donor who donated to get the regulations removed, to have the appropriate braking equipment and other safety measures. Trump boasted about the removal of these regulations. All of this could have been avoided. And you were bragging about the ratings. And you have a governor there who turned down the immediate help, a Republican governor who turned down the immediate help of the Biden administration, turned it down. Whereas you turned down the help when you were in office of states that actually reached out for help, like California did with wildfires. You said, nah, good luck, California. The federal government isn't going to help you. The reverse of that happened in Ohio. Biden said to Governor DeWine, the Republican governor, what can we do to help you? And DeWine didn't even pick up his call and said, don't worry about it. And then everyone complained, oh, Biden's not doing anything. Because everything is this fascist, propagandist, disinformation setups. That's what takes place. And it's just disgusting. Like it's really beyond the pale of what you do. Because several hours later, here's what you posted too. Here's this photo that you posted of Joe Biden. This is something that you posted. It is a absolute and utter disgrace that a former president of the United States, and it pains me to even call you that, would post this. If a internet troll posted this photo, this photoshopped image, I would say this is so disgraceful and so disgusting. But this is how you're spending your time. You find this to be amusing. You find this to be something that you're sharing and putting out on your platform. It's really disgraceful. It's really disgraceful. And frankly, any person who looks at this photograph and laughs or finds this funny or amusing, both the photo or that this is something that's being posted by a former president of the United States. Any person in America who finds this amusing or likes this, it's very, very, very disturbing. And that's an understatement. I mean, our enemies abroad are laughing at us when they see posts like this. How much you are disgracing our country, how much of a fascist stain you are placing on our country. And that's why when we talk about this broader pro-democracy, I mean, look, this MAGA Republican base continues to dwindle because of things like this. We see it happening. But when we talk about the broader pro-democracy base, which I think is more than 60, 65, approaching 70% of the country, pro-democracy, this could be a coalition of Democrats, independents, former conservatives, people who are not affiliated with political parties, a lot of former Republicans, people who were once part of the GOP who look at this and go, "What? This is not okay. This is not the behavior. This is not. I'm not okay with a world where this is being shared with my family, my children, my grandkids. This is not acceptable behavior." And that's why on the MeidasTouch Network, we talk a lot about decency. We talk about humanity. We talk about compassion. We talk about supporting each other. We talk about positivity, because this photo, this MAGA movement is anger, is hate. It is division. It is making a mockery of our beautiful and incredible country. And we're going to keep calling it out here on the MeidasTouch Network. Final point. The fact that this is what Donald Trump is doing shows you how terrified he is, how jealous he is of Biden. That Biden moved to Kyiv, when Biden went there and supported Zelensky, supported democracies abroad, that looked like strength. And nothing's made Trump more jealous in recent memory than that moment right there. So that's why he posts things like this. It's despicable. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We are on our way to 1 million subscribers. Thanks to your support, we're marching to 1 million subscribers in March. It's free to subscribe, so please hit the subscribe button right now. And in addition, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. You will love the exclusive content we have on our Patreon site, but most importantly, it helps grow this independent media channel. So check it out. And again, now hit the subscribe on this YouTube. Also, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search MeidasTouch. You'll enjoy the podcast I do with my younger brothers. Thanks so much for watching this video.
Love this video? Then you'll love the MeidasTouch podcast. Listen as my brothers and I break down the latest news and chat with top political leaders on the fastest growing pro-democracy podcast in the world. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Add the MeidasTouch podcast right now wherever you listen to your podcasts.